Peace, y'all. I am ICC, and today I have a little bit of news as well as a firmware update. Anyways, the 8bitdo or the 8bitdo controllers, depending on how you say it, now have Nintendo Switch support. All you have to do is update the firmware. So instead of using this is what I've been using to play my Switch. I mean, it's fine for the games that need it, but if I'm gonna play a classic game, maybe like Final Fantasy VI or something like that, when it comes out, you know, if they release it at least on the eShop, if they have, you know, classic games, this is gonna be great. So pretty much all their controllers, the reason why I have this here is because this does not yet have support, so you can pretty much forget about that. But the NES30, the SNES30, the FC30, and the SFC30 all have support, as well as the Pro versions. So you're good to go if you use these. I mean, yeah, I might not use it to play Breath of the Wild, but again, if there's Final Fantasy VI, if there's any classic Super Nintendo game, or even Nintendo game released on the Switch, then I'll probably be using this. I hope they add Nintendo 64 support, because this would be great. I don't know what else you can use to play 007 GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, or pretty much any of those games on the Nintendo 64 were made for this Nintendo 64 controller. So I would like to see support added for this in the future, but at least for now, we do have support on these. So I give that a thumbs up. I applaud, you know, their effort and them being on top of the game. So anyways, let's get right into the firmware update, and I'm going to show you how to do that so you guys can start using this on your Switch. Okay, so in your favorite browser, go to 8bitdo.com. Once you're there and it's loaded up, make sure you go to Support on the top right corner. The first tab you will be on is the Manual tab, so make sure you click the Firmware tab. Then, scroll down, look for your controller. Once you find your controller, go to the download part. Click OK. Once it downloads, extract the files. I always extract to its own folder so it doesn't get sloppy. Go into the first folder you see. It will be named Update Tools. Go into the operating system you have. I have Windows. Launch the executable. You might have to give permission. Once you see this window here, you're good to go, so grab your controller and a USB cable. Okay, so at this point we have our controller with a USB cable. We will need that and the laptop. The first thing you want to do, L, R, and start. Hold it until you see the lights turn on. When the lights start to blink, then you can hook everything up. Take your USB cable, one end into the controller, other end into the laptop, and then we head over to the computer. Okay, once we get back on our computer, you will see the button is now clickable. So that's a good sign. If the button's not clickable, try a new USB cable. I've seen some people, and I've had certain comments where it's not clickable once they hook it up. Make sure you did the buttons and make sure the USB cable is good. So once you find your extracted files, make sure you click the DAT file of the firmware you chose. Once you click the DAT file, you can hit OK. It's just saying update firmware, so you can agree. Once you click OK there, the process will start. It only takes about 30 to 45 seconds. I'm not necessarily going to make you watch the whole thing. I'm going to cut ahead. Okay, now that we've fast forward a little bit, it's wrapping up. Once you see it say firmware updated, you are done. You can click OK. So now that that is done, you can unplug all the USB cables, and your controller is good to go. It is now Nintendo Switch compatible, firmware 4.0. I think that's a great addition. I mean, I don't know how you can complain about it. I think that's great. Now I can use my 8bitdo controller. That's perfect. Especially when some of these throwback games start to come out. You know, when they start to release collection games and downloadable games that are classic games, this is going to be very, very handy. So yeah, you're ready to go now. So anyways, I am ICC. Thank you for watching. Peace.